guys, it's me Courtney and welcome to my channel. In today's video we're going to be talking about the new Urban Decay Stay Naked The Fix Powder Foundation. I did do this video a little bit different. I'm going to show you guys my basic demo like I always do, as well as a few different ways to wear this specific foundation. Because it's a powder foundation, you can definitely do it different ways, so I wanted to kind of give you guys some options on how to wear it and what it could look like at the end of the day. So yeah, if you are interested in that, then please continue to watch. Alright, so this is what the actual packaging looks like. I actually really do love the packaging on this, as well as like the Urban Decay the Stay Naked liquid foundation. The only thing about it is it doesn't feel like luxurious or anything. It's still very lightweight, kind of plasticky feeling, which to me, again, it's cute, so I'm not mad at it. Now it is $39 for 6 grams or 0.21 ounces. So if you open it up, this is about how much product you're actually gonna get. It does come with a sponge as well as a mirror, and it comes in 24 shades. I got the shade 60YO. I feel like a lot of times with powder foundations, for whatever reason, they kind of can look a little bit chalky, a little bit lighter, so I typically like to go a shade darker than I usually would. However, with that being said, I couldn't do too much playing around with the actual color. I did have to basically stick with this one. Couldn't go too dark, couldn't go too light, just because the same thing that I said about the Urban Decay Stay Naked liquid foundation, which I will leave that link above here and below in the description box. The colors in the shade range are very stark, so you're looking at like really orange, really yellow. It's kind of leaning one way or the other. Don't really have a warm golden kind of situation. It is workable for my complexion, and with all of my highlighting and contouring and stuff like that, everything balances out. But I by no means think that this is like my perfect shade or anything like that, so just wanted to get that out there. I haven't tried it up to 16 hours. I think the most I've worn this foundation is about 9 to 10. So for today, I'm gonna go ahead and do my makeup look for the day, and then I'm gonna show you some other ways that I've worn this foundation towards the end of the video. For my primer for this video, I did use the All Nighter face primer. This is the new one that Urban Decay came out with. It reminds me of what I think the Milk Makeup Hydro Grip primer was supposed to be. As you guys know, if you've been watching me, like I could not do the Hydro Grip primer at all. It was horrible, at least on my skin. It's not as sticky as I thought it was gonna be, which is good, because I think the stickiness of the Hydro Grip primer is probably what didn't sit right with my skin. But yeah, so it sinks in really nicely, blurs out the pores. I actually really like this primer. With powder foundations, you can definitely do a sponge, you can do a brush, however, you know, it kind of works out for you. Today, I'm just gonna use the sponge that it came with. This is gonna be my first time applying it with this sponge. Alright, so no foundation. Foundation. As you can see, it is super matte. Again, not quite my color, but once I put everything together, it should be fine. It is very blurring. It's very soft. It feels excellent on the skin. And as I'm touching it now, it's not going to transfer. Obviously, it's a powder, so it is going to adhere to the skin a little bit better than your regular liquid foundation. However, one thing I did notice with this foundation, if you have like any small hairs, fine lines, or anything like that, it can tend to accentuate them a little bit. Now, with that being said, I probably could have shaved. But since I didn't, I did want to make mention that it's very noticeable. If you have any fine lines, any hairs, or anything like that, make sure you shave your face, I guess. And I think it's a pretty decent medium coverage. You can still see a little bit of my moles, and it's still not too bad. Like once I go in with the concealer and everything like that, it covers everything else up, so it tends to look a little bit more medium to full coverage depending on how you put it. My skin doesn't feel tight with this powder, which I think is excellent, because a lot of times when you put powder on top of dry skin, sometimes it can look and feel a little rough, especially any kind of mattifying powders. It can really make your skin feel tight, and my skin doesn't feel tight. It feels very soft, very comfortable, very smooth, all that good stuff. I'm gonna go ahead and do the rest of my face, and then we'll come back and we'll chat. Alright guys, so this is the look that we are going to be rocking today. So I did use my Anastasia Beverly Hills Loose setting powder in the color Banana. It is a little bit more brightening than I would like, especially like with the light hitting me the way that it is. My skin doesn't feel tight. It's still very, very soft, very smooth, and it is not transferring. All right, so I did want to mention a few things about this foundation before we do like the whole wear test situation. So when I first tried this foundation, I tried it with a regular beauty blender sponge, and I put it on like I would my regular makeup day, like I did today. I put the powder on, then my concealer, then my contour, and all of that good stuff. And when I tell you, my skin felt so tight and gross. And not only did it feel gross, like it looked cakey, it didn't really last that long that day. It did not do well using my regular sponge. What I'm going to show you now is going to be me using this foundation using my cream products first. I went in with my concealer first. I did my contour because I typically use like cream contour, so I went in with all of my cream products first. Then I went in with like a soft fluffy brush and just kind of brushed on the Urban Decay powder foundation, and to me it gives it like a really nice medium coverage. It doesn't feel too heavy, doesn't feel cakey or anything like that. I did a video not too long ago where I used the Kat Von D powder foundation, and I did that a few different ways as well. I'm gonna link that above and below. And in that video I did try using my cream products first, and I stuck with that ever since. At the end of like the whole makeup application, to me it looks a lot more natural. Everything blends in really, really well together, and I don't have to worry about like my cream sticking on top of my powders or anything like that, so it's a safe bet all the way around. And then at the end of the day with that one, I did have a slight amount of oils kind of peek through a little bit. A little bit of creasing around the mouth. It wasn't too crazy, and it still didn't feel too heavy. Now of course, because the oils did come through, I did get a little bit of transfer, but you know, that's with every foundation. Even though right now it's really, really soft, once my oils start coming through, once anybody's oils come through on their foundation, it's going to transfer a little bit. But yeah, so with that being said, even though my oils did come through that day, I still think it was very wearable. Like it wasn't something that I was feeling sort of insecure about or anything like that. I still liked my makeup. So for another day, I wanted to try it as like a sort of finishing touch. So I went in with my regular Urban Decay Stay Naked foundation in the liquid form. Now in this one I wear 60 WY, so this one is a little bit more on the warm yellow side. Again, it's still not quite the correct color, but it's workable. But yeah, so I went in with my usual liquid foundations, with my concealers, everything. I took it on a light fluffy brush again and just sort of dusted it all over on top of my makeup when I was done. I wanted to see, one, if it overtly mattifies or if it just sort of softly mattifies the face so that it can make your makeup last a little bit longer. Now with that being said, this is like a sort of soft matte foundation, so it doesn't get too drying in the first place, and it's not really that tacky that you would need a powder on top. I just wanted to see how these work together, and it worked really, really well. It did have a little bit of slight creasing at the end of the day. Again, way less oils than it did the first day when I did my creams underneath, and it still didn't feel heavy. It still felt very comfortable. Like I didn't feel like I had on foundation and then another foundation on top, you know what I mean? It still worked really nicely. So for today, I actually used the sponge that it came with. Like I said before, I didn't have any issues that were too crazy. One thing that I did want to note, when I was putting on my concealer, it did try to get stuck a little bit, but I just went in with a little bit more and kind of blended it out as best that I could, so I don't have any like lines of demarcations, no like wet kind of oxidizing lines, if that makes sense. And because it's a powder foundation, I always look for those opportunities for it to sort of stick to my dry patches, for it to enhance my texture, that sort of thing, and I don't get this with this foundation. All of the products that I wore in this specific look, as well as the other looks that I showed you guys, will be in the description box below if you are interested. I am gonna go ahead and get out of here. I'm gonna let you guys see what this makeup application looks like at the end of the day. All right guys, I am back, and this is what my face is looking like. Alright, aside from like just a minor bit of creasing right here and right here, I do have a few oils coming through right here, and now that my oils are coming through, it is, like I said before, it is going to be transferable. I know under the lights it looks a little bit more oily, but in person it just looks like a natural dewy kind of finish, or dewy kind of look. But overall I feel like it still doesn't look bad. Minus this part right here. I've actually gotten a little bit sick. By the way, it is 6:11. I know I was supposed to do an 8-hour wear test, but I had to take medicine. I'm getting a little sick and I'm probably gonna pass out within the next hour. So I wanted to go ahead and finish this video up. But yeah, it doesn't get too much worse than this. The beautiful thing about powder foundations is that you can take them with you and touch up. So I am gonna touch up a little bit. Pretty much goes back to normal. Again, that's the beauty of a powder foundation. Now, as far as if I would recommend it, I actually do recommend this foundation if you are in the market for a powder foundation. Alright guys, that about does it for me. Hopefully this video was helpful. If so, please give me a thumbs up. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, share the video if the mood suits you, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!